I'll share in all my platforms. I'll share in both Facebook and all the other platforms. So I can just kick off with analyzing a few pairs. I'm going to analyze 3 pairs for tomorrow. That's 3 pairs for NFP. And I'll also analyze 3 pairs, GPY pairs, because GPY has messed me up. It messed me up last week, and last week, but what? I gave tithe to the market. You know, if you normally call it give it tithe to the market. At times, if anyone lies to you that he doesn't give tithe to the market, then that one is not a trader. That one is trading demo. For us who trade live, we all know that it's very normal. It's a normal thing to give a tithe to the market. It's very normal to give, at least you give something to the market, because market, if you don't give something to the market will come for it and they'll come and take it on. So you just give it, something like you can, if you're using stop loss, then you give it to the market willingly. If you don't use stop loss, you give it to the market unwillingly. You know, the journey of Forex is a bit scary. And it's a journey that most people don't want to go through it, because I know few people, or even lump sum of people that we all started together trading. But I can assure you that most people that we kicked off with trading, they are not even in Forex. They stopped. They even, I don't know, some even decided to at least go to other ventures. They started even to sell, I don't know, some are selling calls. Some are even doing other businesses, of which it's, you know, Forex is not something that's very easy to do. See, jambo yenye unaweza fanya anytime that unaweza amua, okay, from nowhere you just decide, okay, wacha nifanye hili. No, Forex ni kitu yenye, at least, if you don't dedicate your time to it and if you don't dedicate your resources to it, you cannot make it. You know, so people lie to you that's a quick rich scheme, but when you tumefanya Forex for quite a while, like for me, nimefanya Forex for almost the last 5 years, full time. I've been a full-time trader, but I'm a leverage trader, which means if I lose today, for example, if I lose, let's say $500 today or even this week, I'll ensure that I've recovered the $500 come next week, so that I keep at par. You see, I keep my stop loss and my profits at par. At times it's good even to close and break even rather than closing in a loss. That's what I call leverage trading. You know, there are different types of traders. There are those who trade using the hedging factor, that the hedging between their profits and their loss is almost the same. Because you can't say it's at any given time that people, or even traders, don't lose. We normally lose. I've even shared some videos of my trading. I've shared a video that I lost around 800 some time back. And I shared even a video of one of my friends who happens to be a trader, Easy Forex. He lost around $8,000. That was last month during NFP. So those things happen in the market on a daily basis. So if someone comes to you and lies to you that you are getting to a venture that you won't lose a penny, then that person will be lying. You know, I'm talking even to the beginners, that there are some people that are just getting in to the Forex market without the know-how, that this is a venture that I'm going to risk. It's like you're getting to, let's say, you're getting to a business without fire insurance. And happens that premise gets fire. What will happen? If it gets fire, everything that's in your store will get burned. If you don't have fire insurance, or even you have not insured your property, then no one will pay you. The same way happens in the market. If you don't use a stop loss and you're getting the venture without a stop loss and without proper risk management, you can end up losing everything. I know of a trader lost around 50,000 USD, another one lost around 500,000 USD, and they're all Kenyans. I know of them, because when you trade for long, you get to know people and you get to know other traders that are in the field before you. Because trading started early 1990s, early 1970s, but when trading started, if you do your research right. But let's get to our business today. Today we are to analyze a few things. I want us to analyze Japanese yen, particularly I want us to analyze the Great Britain pound against the Japanese yen. So we'll do something that's most traders do. That's the demarcating support and resistance, because that's the major what traders do, and what major traders do, and also what market makers do. So we won't go against market makers, but we'll trade as, I normally trade as like an institutional trader. That's why I'm able to remain in the field for quite a long time without giving up. Because if I tell you a story that many people that start or start trading, they reach at a point that they decide, okay, trading is not worth it. It's not worth it to keep on trading. They just leave and they do other ventures, because if you lose today and you lose tomorrow, you lose the day after, you lose all your savings, you can't continue doing the same thing every time that and you are losing. You have to look for another venture that you can invest your savings. Now, let's start by analyzing Japanese yen. Great return against the Japanese yen. One, we can do what you call the support and resistance. I'll do from monthly downwards to the 4 hours. I do something called, I normally do top-down analysis. So if we do top-down analysis, you'll be able to know the major regions and the major liquidity zones that we normally have in the market. I just invite more. We need some more people to join the Zoom, because we are still like, not that much. A moment. Okay. And at times, I want to inform you guys. It's in the correct order, or it's always right. To at times decide to keep off the markets or even take a break from the market. Like for me, I took a break in 2019 when I lost 15,000 USD. In 2019, I lost 15,000 and I took a break from the market. I came back in 2020. I made it back. And again, I came and took a break again in around April this year. And I came back in August this year. At times it's always good to take a break, because if at all you don't take a break, someone is talking in the background. I don't know who is it. Someone has just joined and is making a lot of news. Let me just mute. Let me just mute all. I've just muted all because someone was making noise at the background. Then let's get to what you are doing. We are checking on a few things. So we are checking on Great Britain pound against the Japanese yen. I don't know, because I can't see anyone on chat. I know I'm audible enough. I think and I believe that I'm audible enough to everyone. So let me accept a few members to the channel. Then we are looking at Great Britain pound against the Japanese yen of GBP GPY. Okay, do you saying everything is clear? That's what I needed to hear from everyone. Now, if we check from the monthly overview or from the monthly time frame, you realize that Japanese the GBP GPY, it's at some we call it, it's at the midway resistance point, or it's at the monthly resistance zone, because these are monthly. So why do we call it a monthly resistance zone? This is a zone that was revisited, or it was retested some time back around which date? You can know which date. It was at that particular zone in 2018. In 2018, that's when GBP GPY hit the resistance zone, and now again it has hit the monthly resistance zone again on date 1 November. Now, if you check well at the main resistance, the main monthly resistance zone, if it breaks above, then we may go up to this particular zone to touch the monthly wyckoff. We call it the monthly wyckoff. Okay, we call it the monthly wyckoff for those who trade the wyckoffs. So if it breaks this particular zone, Great Britain, Japanese yen or GJ will hit this particular zone, which is the monthly resistance, the main monthly resistance. But at the moment, it's at one of the major resistance zones. It had resisted this EMA that I'm using here. I call it a super EMA that I normally use it as the resistance zone, as the support zone. Once it's retested, price may reject or may proceed and continue with the trend. Now, let's get to weekly time frame. I told you I'm a trader who does something you call top-down analysis and know which direction that the market is going to take. I'm a both adversarial trader and a trade following trader. I normally trade based on the condition that the market gives me. You see, because at times you can't trade, you trade what you see. That's what we normally say. You should always trade what you see. Don't trade what you think, or if you see maybe, you know, so sometimes I traded what I think and I end up losing a lot of money. So because at times when you trade what you think, like for example, if you see, like if you check on RSI and you think, okay, RSI has gone below 30, now that pair has been oversold. Who told you that market makers are not aware about the oversold zone? They're all aware about that particular pair has been oversold. Like for example, I can give you a good example of CJ or CHEP JPY. CHEP JPY has been buying all through, and most people I know, they've been caught up by the sell triggers. One being myself, I was caught up by the sell triggers. I sold last week. For me, I normally don't use stop loss, so you can assume what you can just presume what happened to my account. Okay, you know, I'm telling you the real facts about the market. I don't want to pamper anything to you. I don't want to tell you that this is just a walkover, or this is just something that you can do while you are asleep, or you just wake up from nowhere and say, okay, let me trade, let me become an experienced trader. It's a gradual process that takes time. Trading is a gradual process that takes time, that you need to know from step to step, what are you doing? Why are you taking this particular trend? You need even to have something like, I normally have such kind of a notebook that I normally keep my data flowing. Normally keep, like, if today I'm to trade this particular pair, I normally know I'm trading a particular pair. Like for example, I normally check on it and I normally know, okay, today is on a Monday. I normally do, like, I write my plan, Monday plan, or today is on a Thursday. I normally do a Thursday plan. Like if it's on a Thursday, on Thursday, I'll be checking on this particular pair, these and these. I'll be checking on USD pairs, I'll be checking on NSD pairs. That's what we call a plan. You should be having a plan. Before you make any trade, have a plan. Make a plan. Like for example, make a plan. How many bucks are you planning to get? How many bucks are you planning to achieve? What's your target? Where is your TP? Where is your stop loss if everything doesn't go as presumed, or if everything doesn't go as assumed, or as by your expectation? You see, such things is what you should normally do as a trader. Because if you don't take your time to do analysis, and if you don't take your time to plan, they say a life without a plan is a failed life. I don't know the scholar saying that, but I know there's a saying that goes by that. Now, let's get to what we are doing. Let's get to what we are doing. If you check well on weekly time frame, again, GPGBO is at weekly distance zone. If you check well, it's at this particular zone. There's where we have our crossover is at the weekly distance zone. So we still have, and again, it has what we call the inside bar. If you check well, there's an inside bar formation at this particular point, because we had this particular bullish candle. It was halfway gapped by a smaller candlestick. That if you go back to your notes if you go back to your notes in the training Bible, if you go back to your notes in Pipsology, you'll realize that this particular one is what we call an inside bar formation or the child, call it the mother and child. Okay. Now, if you see this particular kind of formation, you know, for me, like I told you, I coordinate between ICT and naked trading. There's another one indicator that I normally use. That's for me alone. I have one specific indicator that I normally use to analyze market direction. But if you check well, it's at the weekly resistance. That's what you can see and what I can see using your naked eyes. So you should always trade what you see. Like I told you.
Yeah.
Let me mute this person. Okay. You should always trade what you see. Don't trade what you presume or what you think or what other people say. Okay. Let's get to daily time. Let's get to daily time frame. I think someone is talking, still chatting at the background. I don't know who is it. Let me check because I had muted a few. I don't know if there's anyone talking apart from me. Okay. Now, here's what happened. We are on the daily time frame. If you check on daily time frame, you realize that price went above board the daily. This remember, this was our monthly resistance zone. If you go to monthly, you realize that this one was our monthly resistance zone. But if you get to daily zone, you realize also it's our one of the daily resistance zones. Now, what happens if you check at this particular, let's say at this particular point, you can do a smaller one at this particular point. If you check at this particular point where you have the higher high of this particular day, you realize that price went, or it's surpassed the daily resistance zone, meaning it went above the daily, it broke the zone, the daily zone. You can do a shading on these two, demarcate the zone. So this majorly is whereby we had, let me tell you, okay, some moments. This is where majorly we had the daily liquidity zone. So these were market makers was driving the price towards. And again, it dropped the price towards that particular zone and it broke above the particular zone, came again to revisit or to retest the particular zone. But if you check well, price went again to retest the same zone and it was rejected. So do you expect for GBP GPY? For GBP GPY, if you are a day trader, you can scalp some sales. That's for GJ. If you're a day trader, you can scalp from sales. If you are a swing trader, it's time to make a short. It's time to make a short if you are a daily trader. Then what's our target? This will be our first target for swing traders. This will be our first target at this particular zone. And don't be precise. Don't do it at exactly the particular zone, because even the market makers are aware that that's where you want the price to reach, or that's where your target is. Yeah, I just want to mute. I just want to mute some people here. They're making news from. They're making noise. Kindly, guys, if you just get into the Zoom, kindly ensure that you mute yourself, because you don't want to listen the background news, noise from your end. Kindly just ensure that you mute yourself. Those who are joining, because I'll be able to mute all. So kindly, once you join, ensure that you mute yourself, at least because we need to do something. We need to do a thorough analysis on particular pairs, because once beaten twice shy, that's one rule of the market. So I will tell you where is our target, and where should we have a target at that particular zone. One, this I'm telling you, this particularly is for swing traders. Our target for GJ will be at this particular zone. Reason being, let me just share, and I'll tell you how many pips that particular zone. Okay. Our target will be at this particular zone. And I'll tell you why our target is at that particular zone. Okay. Now, if you check well, price made, if you check well, price made something we call, okay. Okay. If you check well, price made a retest of our main resistance zone, got rejected, and now we are getting down here. So GJ is falling on daily time frame, is falling on a monthly time frame, it's at the resistance point. On weekly time frame, is at the resistance point. On daily time frame, is at the it's at the daily retesting zone. So these were where the market makers took liquidity at this particular zone. They took all stop losses for those guys who had been buying GJ based on 4-hour time frame. Now let's get to the 4-hour time frame and see what happened. Now, 4 time frame looks a bit confused and looks a bit 4 time frame looks a bit confused and looks a bit like price was consolidating. Because if you check at this particular zone, check well, price was going up, made a retest at our liquidity zone, went up again, made a retest, 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 then it broke below our zone. So that confirms our fears that JJ is falling. So you can make an entry. You see, if you are a day trader, you can just make an entry, you scalp some sales. If you are a swing trader like I am, it's time to make an entry based on 4 hours. You can make an entry, a sell entry. Okay, even on 1 hour is falling, that's a free signal for all. Then remember our target. You should all remember our target at this particular zone. That's at one, you can do at 153.700. You know, I normally not down. So our target is 152.700. That's our target for GJ. Then again, I'll be sharing, you know, I normally use 2 brokers. If you check well at this particular broker, this is one of my live accounts. I use, this one is just Forex. I use just Forex and I use Inifnox. One, if you don't choose your broker well, you will keep on giving time to the market. So that's one thing that you should know before you make any trade. Before you make any trade, before you decide which trade to make, make sure that the broker that you have chosen is the right broker. Okay? Sorry for the background news because where I am, there's a construction going on. Okay? Now, now that's for GJ. GJ is on a sell. Then, where is our stop loss zone? Where should we put our stop loss zone? Okay, kindly put your stop loss zones at this particular area. You can do our stop loss zones at this particular area. Let me show you. So this particular zone should be our stop loss area. That's where we had consolidation at 157.680. Our SL should be 157.680. That's where we should have our SL zone. Now, let's go to Euro USD. Because also Euro USD has been confusing a lot of people. A lot of traders have been confused by Euro USD. If you're, for those who are aware, we all know that what happened yesterday, we had something we call forms at around 9, and Euro USD was pushed down. But if you check well, there's something like a shooting star. We call it an inverted hammer on monthly time frame. There's an inverted hammer, a complete inverted hammer. What does this signify? And it's on trend. Is a inverted hammer or a shooting star on downward trend, which means Euro USD has a long way to cover to complete this cycle or to cover this distance to fill this gap. So Euro USD is still on a downtrend. Euro USD is still on a downtrend. That's what we should note. Okay. All these going upwards or this bullish move are just noises. They are just noises. But Euro USD is coming to this particular zone to cover this gap. Market doesn't leave gaps behind. So Euro USD is coming to this particular zone to cover this particular gap. If you check well, it made a retest at this particular zone. Just check well from where you are. You realize that it made a retest to this particular neckline. Okay. Then after retesting the neckline, what happened? Price broke below the neckline. So today I'll just be analyzing the two, at least to give you an insight of why Euro USD has been selling and why we expect it to sell further. If you have been following my lessons from time to time, you realize that we analyzed Euro USD at this particular zone. Go to my YouTube channel. You realize that the first time we analyzed Euro USD, it was forming these double tops on weekly time frame, and I told everyone that if this double top is confirmed, then we're gonna have Euro USD get it down to this particular zone, and this particular zone was confirmed. The double tops was confirmed that it has been going down all through. So don't look for buy entries for Euro USD. Look for sell entries for Euro USD. That's one. I'm giving a disclaimer. That's one. And again, if you check well, on weekly time frame, you have something like head and shoulder. Let me show you where the head and shoulder is. At least you can be able to see. We have the head at this particular zone. Okay. Then we have the first resistance shoulder at this particular zone. Then we have the second resistance shoulder at this particular zone. That's the second retested shoulder at this particular zone. So if we check well, we realize that Euro USD has been following a particular pattern, of which is only a few traders that were able to see. Go, sit well, relax, take a deep breath. Even if you have lost how many bucks the market, who doesn't lose the market? If I tell you what I have lost the market, just pity me. But you lose, we gain it back. You lose, you recover it back. You don't give in. Because at times you can analyze, and the market goes against you. I see my time, I don't have the premium. I'm not taking the premium soon. So for those who have joined now, sorry for getting late, but will be done in the next 3 minutes or so. Now, I was just trying to analyze the two pairs and show you an insight of what to expect. One, DJ is on a sell trend, so expect more sells than buys. If you are to make a trade, make a sell. Two, Euro USD is on a sell trade. If you are to make a trade, make a sell. Okay. Let's get to daily time frame. Daily time frame is still selling. It made some retest at this particular zone to capture some buyers. Then what happened? Still falling. 4 hours. 4 hours is still selling. And if you check well, this was our zone. This is our zone. So 4 hours is still selling. 1 hour. 1 hour, Euro USD is falling like nonsense. So That's let's call it a day. At least you have insight of 2 major pairs that you can make an entry on. I wish you well, even as we get to NFP tomorrow. At least you should have something to trade. If you don't trade, if you are fond of trading NFP, at least you can trade Euro USD. Someone is telling me to analyze Euro NSD. Let me check it right now. Euro NSD blew my account some time back. I can't lie. I lost around 200 USD in Euro NSD because I ended a buy at this particular zone. Reason being, let me tell you the reason as to I ended a buy at this particular zone. No, tuambiane ukweli jamani. Sisi ni wa Kenya na sisi ni matraders. Tuambiane ukweli. Nafikanga pale market inageuka. At times you are between you call it a hard place and a rock and a hard place. You don't know which direction to take. You don't know imeenda aje. Ujui nini imehappen. When Euro NSD broke at this particular zone, I was on a buy because nimeingilia buy hapa. I can't lie. You know why nimeingilia buy hapa? If you check well, this was a major daily support zone. This particular zone was a major daily zone, and there's no particular time that Euro NSD had broken this particular zone. So nilikuwa nimeingilia buy hapa. Nikaingia profit. If you check well, niliingia profit 2 days. Niliingia profit almost $500. I never left. Nikaendelea kuingia. Then reaching at this particular zone, ikanipea another buy signal. Nikaongeza some buys hapa. But I was stopped out before it reached at this place. It was stopped out at 300 USD, this particular zone. That was some weeks ago. That's the reality of the market. Acha kudanganyana. Sasa, what will happen? Euro NSD. Mark my words. Euro NSD, it broke below the daily support zone. It has not retested the daily support zone for it to give you a clear direction. So if I was you, I could stay away until it gives me a clear direction, or it makes a retest at this particular zone and it continues going down. Or you can scalp sells, because on a weekly time frame you can see it even broke below the weekly time frame. So Euro NSD is still on a sell trend. Still on a sell trend. So if you are still loading your sells, your buys, I can advise you maybe wait for your loss to reduce, at least because it will retest this particular zone. It will retest at this particular, it will make a retest at this particular zone. Then you can ship out. Okay, you can ship out once Euro NSD retest this particular zone. Okay, so asante sana for those who attended. At least we are done for today. For those who never attended, I've recorded the session, so itakuwa pale kwa YouTube channel, itakuwa pale kwa Facebook, itakuwa pale kwa Telegram channel yetu. Sawa, nashukuru sana.